Shredder Nation, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Shred Your Body Call. I am your guest host tonight, our chief shreducator, Heather Sica-Leonard, and I am here tonight filling in for our ambassador, Jesse James Jamnick, with the amazing holistic nurse, Susan Rothman. How's it going?
It's going good. This should be a fun call, fun conversation.
I'm so excited for us to have this conversation.
It's a nice to close out the new year.
It really is. It's going to give us such a great energy to set up for 2022. Mm-hmm. So Susan and I have been talking for a while. I mean, we talk every day. I am so grateful to have this woman in my life, and my days feel very strange if she and I don't talk.
Agreed.
No matter what it has to do with, we have a conversation or a chat every day, and that it just makes my day. But what we have been observing and seeing come more and more and more to light recently is that we came to this protocol looking for something. You came in looking for a solution, whether it was energy, weight loss, health, whatever it was. You came here looking for something. And as we have been fine-tuning and developing and growing this protocol over the last year, we have seen it become so much more. And we see it as a community who's paying it forward. It is Gratitude Tuesday, right? And so there's something so powerful behind that. And I know it's been on Susan's heart to talk about this. So I'm going to let her go ahead and take over.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Yeah, ever since you guys did the Come Alive call for the board, this is what sparked this. So this is really about you guys and about the community and the giving. So like Heather said, we all came to this for varying reasons, but to get something, right? So we all came to get something. And what's happened is for so many of us, that shifted into giving. And there's no, I know for me, as far as isogenics, I've been involved in groups for years, all different groups and other topics and other communities on health and wellness, whatever. I've never seen anything like this. So I thought, okay, so I want to take a deep dive. Me and Jesse talked about this too. And there actually is a science to giving. So I don't know if, because really I have all these notes sitting here. And today, so I use the word a lot, expansive, right? So actually the ER Shred protocol is yang energy. Yang energy is expansive. What happens when we expand? I believe is part of the attraction to Lenny Evans. He's expansive. And that's obvious to us, right, Heather? Yeah. So that's what's happening organically in the community. So what came first? Did the ER Shred protocol by eliminating food culprits, healing the gut, opening up neurotransmitters, taking down inflammation so our cells can talk to each other, but see the community. So, and then also we've created the safe space for people to show up authentically, vulnerably. If 2.5 years ago you would have said to me that I would have established relationships and friendships in an online community, I would be like, what are you talking about? This isn't my first rodeo. But like Heather says, we talk every day. I have friends that I'll probably have for life in this community. Some I've met in person, some I haven't. So as I dove into the science of giving, which actually is a thing, there's actually a thing called the helper's high. And it's actually in the mesolimbic pathway in the brain. And that when people give from their heart, it actually stimulates endorphins and dopamine, very similar to a runner's high. So it's self-perpetuating. But I wanted to bring this to the group also, and I'm hoping that whoever's on the call and replays it, share your experience. Like, we don't focus on it because it's just part of our innate nature. So we open up and then we're giving, nurturing, loving to strangers. And I thought going into the new year, if we put our focus on that and like what happened to me that this opened. People who weren't sharing are sharing. Most of us have no financial connection. We all support one another. I've done 3-way calls for people I have no connection to. It would never even occur to me to say no. And so it sets the gratitude. And then, of course, we're talking about, and I'm going to use the word excavating this piece, or unearthing, uncovering what this is in us that's happening. That's the Discover You in 2022, because it all comes from that. It comes from this really pure place, which I think gives it so much power.
And you know what I think too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we came in here looking for 1 or 2 solutions, and we got so much more fulfillment from being a part of this community that we just feel like we have to give back. Like, I came into the ER Shred looking to lose some weight, looking to get my energy back, and looking to simplify my life. That was what I had. But then I spent a little time in here, and next thing you know, I'm the head of the board, passing all of this information forward and educating people, because I was given value to myself from this community. I was valued, I was nurtured, I was welcomed, I was appreciated. And it sparked that internally in me that I'm then giving back, because I got more than I asked for. I got more than I was looking for.
Absolutely.
And I think that is the community. And you see it when we have people like Mimi, who is now the heart. We have Lenny, who is the spirit. We have the board who shows up for everybody. We have the administrative team that's in here and welcoming people. You can see that people are valued, and that doesn't happen. And when you have value, you want to turn around and give it back. Right.
But it's also all through the community with no agenda, and people just, that's what I'm curious about. Like the person that came to this community that was new to it, and they were quiet, and they would never get on a Facebook Live like me, or go on a call, or be sharing information in the group in an outspoken way. Those are the people I'm curious about. What happened? Because I think there's so many things that happen there in the science of giving. And of course, we've entered into, like, wouldn't the world be wonderful if it was like this, where we all encouraged and supported each other? So, I was thinking, I had the news on by accident, and I thought, oh God, thank God I could come into the community. And because we have a whole different world in here. But I'm just blown away by it. I did want to give it back, just like the community gave to us. We are aware of all of this, and really, and me and Jesse talk about this piece, because as health professionals, that's what fills us up. Like, you guys, listen, guys, you don't need us anymore. You're doing it, right? We're not going anywhere, but you're doing it. You've got this, and now you're paying it forward. And that to us is such a fulfilling gift. For me, it's something I've been wanting to give to my clients forever. And go ahead, Heather.
I think too, just to speak to that, you can see that as the leaders, and you and Jesse can step back a little bit, because people have been empowered to learn, and they want to give back what they have learned. And that's why you don't have to be the first one to answer anymore, because the answers are coming from the community. The community has been shreducated, as I like to put it, and they turn around and they pour that love right back in. And when we look at things like our top contributors of the community, it's the people that are giving it back. And I agree with you. Like, if you're in and you're watching it, don't watch quietly. Share with us what are you feeling? Like, we are seeing people come to the top of our contributors who we think they're just starting their shred, but they've been with us since January or February.
Quiet, yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden their switch is hit. Like you said, there's a light switch that goes off, and all of a sudden here they are. Like Susan Look is another one. She came alive this summer, but she started with us back in January. And then she flipped her switch, and then you see the Facebook Lives coming all the time and all of this information. You've got Rocio, who struggled in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I remember her struggles. And I remember she was on the phone with Dr. Ino almost every day, just trying to get through it. And now look at her. She's translating so we can reach a whole other community.
And my hope is that people comment their journey of this sharing in the thread, because it sets the stage for others who are hiding. And then I know, we don't know everybody's backstory, but I know there's people in here that would not speak, that didn't have a voice. And so that's what interests me is where did that come from? Because, for me, the Holy Trinity is body, mind, spirit. We have all of that happening here. And then I thought tonight I was going into yin and yang, and then I was looking at chakras, and I'm like, Susan, we're not doing that today. Because there's so many layers to this. And the main thing, I guess, is we're going into the new year healthy, in alignment, doing something that has worth, value, and meaning, that's impacting on other people's lives. It sets us up for so many blessings in so many ways. I know for me, there's some facets as our hormones balance here where colors look brighter. You notice things that you didn't notice. Smells are different. You appreciate things that you didn't appreciate before. And I just wanted to highlight all that because sometimes we take those things for granted. And I see the thread, somebody said they didn't have a voice before they came. So that's what we're doing this for you, and also to give back and to say thank you and how blessed we are by all of you. And I know I speak for the entire board. Me and Jesse talk about this all the time. We found our fulfillment and we're not going anywhere. And there's no, of course, getting paid is great, but nobody's going anywhere anyway. Okay?
Didn't you just agree to another 5-year commitment?
I'm not going anywhere. There's so many people in this community that I love. And if you notice, I never mention anybody because I don't want to leave anybody out. I'm in touch with so many of you behind the scenes. And it truly is just a desire to help. And we're just going to keep doing it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love the energy of that excavating. And that excavating, we all come into this community too with all different kinds of traumas, right? So whether it's addiction, abuse, sexual abuse, whatever it might be in your life, injuries, this is the community. And as the nutrition lifts you up, it fortifies you to where you can go in and look at your hard questions and dig up. You can't, things that are painful, you can't go around them. You have to go through them. And so that's another thing that leave it behind. Leave it in 2021 and, live your authentic life. And with all this nurturing behind you, I know you can do it because we're all like, what is it? The wind, it's corny, the wind beneath each other's wings. Because when I set my day up in this community, I go out the door feeling positive and aligned. And Heather's right. If we don't talk, it's weird. Yeah, it is, Heather.
And yet we've never met in person.
Right. And never met you before.
That's what's so crazy about this. So as we're digging this and we're talking about unearthing this, I think back to our first call together, you and I.
Okay, I don't.
We've done so many calls.
Yeah.
But how the gut can affect your mood and how then it can impact all of this.
Oh, absolutely. So that's what I was saying. So that's why I'm so fascinated with what's happening here. And I call it the happiness factor because there's so many pieces to it. So then I took a deep dive into giving. So the giving in and of itself could do that. Cleaning up the gut, not eating, I'm very proud to say that the last 2 years, I have not really had processed food. Nothing in a bag, nothing in a jar, nothing, maybe here and there, but Very rarely. So is it that? It's just cleaning up that processed food. Is it tapping into the ancestral nutrition? Is it the fats? What the hell is going on? And then of course we know free radical damage, which sets up, not exchanging cells in your brain. So the clarity, it's all these things. And then the other thing that's so interesting about how this all came together and with the community is a lot of people in this group were already using products and in a lifestyle that was healthy and sustaining. I was, but this is so next level. And, so I'm going to keep doing these. I encourage all of you to put your ideas on what happened to you emotionally that caused you to share, to speak, to show up, to give. And is it different than it was before? Because we've said it, Sean says it all the time. We can't put our hands on this. We can't language it. So as we play in it and have a conversation in it, that's how we're going to find it in relationship to one another.
And that's what I love about Tuesday, because a lot of times you can't pinpoint it. But as you start sharing, and this is what Jessie is so good at, as you start sharing and you're listening to what's being shared and you ask questions, you can start peeling back the layers. Not that you're going to find the exact moment or the exact thing, because it's so many things together that make that shift. But as you start reflecting and journaling and asking questions, you're going to peel back more. As you said, you're going to excavate it, right? You're going to dig it out.
Yeah, I encourage people to clear out the debris, I know it can be very scary, clear out the trauma, clear out the debris. You can change your operating systems. You might have had a problematic childhood. I did. The way I say I don't have good hardware, but I've downloaded enough software to where I know how to have a healthy, happy life. And, so that's part of this too, as we're, I see Jessie, Jessie, we miss you.
But you're supposed to be having family time, my friend. We love you.
But because this is our passion, it's so next level. And that's why I bring that part up, the emotional. Maybe that's 2022, discover you in 2022. Let's start tearing that shit down. And this is a place, and I'm not saying come in here and share your intimate details, but definitely the pieces of it we can explore together and support each other in that as well.
Absolutely. It's like you come in, you start the protocol. So you start shedding the nutritional side of it. And then once you get that on the tracks, your train hits the next station, which is the emotional side of it and the mental side of it. So, the first station is getting your nutrition.
Yeah.
And then we're on these tracks, and then we stay on these tracks as we start working on the mindset and the gratitude and the behavioral, because those all connect. And that's what we're here for. I know you love to talk about the mindset. I know Crystal loves to talk about the mindset.
Everything.
And as you're coming in and sharing and you're coming into this call and you're hearing something, absolutely. When you find that space, or maybe you just connect with somebody's story that they share something and you connect with them. This community, I guarantee you, has started more messenger groups and chats and everything else going on. And I think that's part of the valuable piece of people being brave to share, because they know there are people out there with something similar that they can connect to and work together on. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody that I've seen sharing their vulnerability in the community is not going to reach back for that person that says, I am struggling on that same thing. Can we connect?
Right. And then the interesting thing that, I'm a little ahead of a lot of you as far as age. And what I know for sure is for so many things, and depending on mindset, once you shine the light on something, right? Something that might have been hurtful. Once the light hits it, And for some people, when the words hit the air of what it was, it blows into smoke because it wasn't today. It was yesterday. So I know for me and some of the things that I've dealt with in my life that I had to go back and heal that were uncomfortable. It was like, for some of them, it was like, oh my God, like I just looked at it differently and it's gone. And that's not for everything, but it's for some things. And, I wanted to say about, when we talk about, for me, I call it the Holy Trinity, body, mind, spirit. So that's nutrition, all of that, and, so many people, and I've been in this industry a really long time. And I know this is on my page, so I want to say it. So I was in a group talking about holistic nutrition, and I'm seeing a whole thread on treating symptoms with supplements, number one, that doesn't work. Supplements, a place for vitamins, minerals, and things for your immune system, is only to support your body in doing what it's doing already. And then for practitioners, if they're not clear, it's like when I want advice, I have one friend when I want money advice. She has no debt. It lives abundantly. I want to stand in her shoes, right? Same thing with health. So I see this whole tribe. These people have a really big following, and they're sick. So just, we're going to open the eyes and see what's in front of us. In this group, we share openly our own struggles. We the model for that is Sean. He's on his own journey. And so I guess that's what I'm laying out there for 2022. Discover the new you. There's nothing, you don't need nothing new. You're good to go. It's just, discover you in 2022. And that's what it's about, peeling those layers.
And finding that empowerment and deciding what works for you. Mm-hmm. And I think as a society for so long, and as an educator, we are indoctrinated with this is what it means. This is what you're supposed to do. You're going to dot your I's and cross your T's, and you're going to follow this path because that's what you're supposed to do. And what we are learning, and I know I am embracing upon this journey, is my body's got to be the one to tell me. And I have to be empowered to listen to my instincts, to listen to my gut, to trust myself. Mm-hmm. Yep. And for so long, that was wrong. That's not what the mm-hmm. book said. That's not what science said. That's not what the curriculum says. Mm-hmm. As an educator, this is where I struggle.
But there again comes the empowerment, because it's like, what has authority over you, and where did it come from? And those are thoughts and beliefs. What has authority over you? Because we have an inner voice. And for some people, they have to dig that up, Yeah.
And that's why I love, as we are finding these things that are helping us listen to our inner voice, we're sharing. And we've got resources that we're sharing. And, right now we have a lot about the protocol. But if you go into the biz side, we've got a lot around the mindset and the personal development too, because we do know that's sharing, but that is a resource that we can be putting into our community as well. Because I know we have the videos and documentaries around the protocol. We've got the books around the protocol, but we can also start putting into those mindset beliefs to start trusting your inner voice. Because I know our community has a book list and then some that we will be happy to start. You're going to find what speaks to you. Right. And that's what is so incredible about us being able to do that, is we find what speaks to us, and then we take it, we internalize it, and then we give it forward, whether it's in the community or in our own personal lives. I know you see it with me with my tank every day. Yes, that's what I refer to him as so lovingly. But I'm internalizing, I'm reflecting, and I'm paying it forward. And sometimes it's in gratitude in the community, but in other ways, it's how I interact with my students, how I interact with my husband, how I interact with my child. It changes the relationship, and I'm not even mindful of it a lot of the time. But if I pause and reflect on it, I've seen the impact that it has had paying forward. Like my students, they struggle really hard because my goal right now is to not recite back to me what I've telling you to do. My goal is to get you a foundation and then empower you to apply that.
Mm-hmm.
And you find your way through this. And the kids don't like it. But as I sit there and I think these kids are 12 and 13, they've had 6-7 years of school where it's just at you, and repeat it back to me. And I didn't even start seeing that till I was in my 30s.
Well, that is a societal problem that we're actually living out, the problem of people not being able to think clearly. And that's got nothing to do with food. There's something else going on there. But that's part of it. That's part of it is, what is this to me? And Sean talks about this. He alludes to this a lot. What is this for me? Question everything. And then Lenny, see, a lot of this stuff, we have all these self-help books and this and that, and that's all great. I did all of that. So I'm not knocking that. But in what Lenny said about, and I call it too, we would say the same thing, because truth is always the same thing. So that pause. So Lenny says, pause and take a breath. I say, pause and say, what the hell's going on over here? Who's in charge over here? However that works for you. And then I know in negative thoughts, negative thinking, some of us have in our head a murderer. Okay, the murderer says, good, bad. And then someone's listening to that. You can out loud in your home tell that murderer to shut the hell up, out loud. And when you do that, and sometimes just clap your hands, it interrupts that as you're on your journey. And I didn't really think we would be getting into this today. This was more about giving, but it's a natural occurrence because so for the board, we want all of you to be healthy, to be free, to be independent thinkers, to be vibrantly healthy, and to have, and I guess if I were to encapsulate ER Shred in one word, it would be fulfillment. I feel like I'm in alignment. I'm in fulfillment. For the first year, for the first 6-9 months, I would say to myself, who is this person? And seriously, today I was thinking, because I'm direct, right? So I don't think I needed to be more direct, but I am. But it's more tempered with wisdom. So I don't know if that's a good or bad quality. I like it, so it's not going anywhere.
Well, and it's coming with it's even more authentic, and it's more transparent, because I remember when we were starting these calls and how timid you were to come live.
Yes.
To share things on your journey.
Absolutely.
I remember those first couple of calls where you were in this broadcast studio and you were nervous about it and you were not. And now I see you doing your own Facebook Live on your phone in your car.
I do lives with no makeup. I'm like, seriously, Susan? And that doesn't escape me that happened here. You know what that doesn't, and so the confidence that comes with that. And I've always been, for me, even in my herbal business, I'm passion driven. So for me, and this is a great piece for me, the passion, if I want, will outweigh the fear. So I was the kid that if I had to do an oral presentation in school, I skipped school. When I was building my herbal practice, I spoke everywhere, on stage, with the mic, all different varying amounts of people. What was that? That was passion driven, and it's interesting about that because you couldn't have paid me to do it. I would have skirted around it. And that's what we're seeing in the community. That's part of what we're seeing in the community. This, let me contribute.
And that passion, I think, bumps the vibration, which pays it forward with the gratitude, which bumps the vibration. And we are just full of buttery energy.
Yeah. And that's how we're going to go, just, woo! woo, into 2022. And I know for me, sometimes I need to, I've told you guys before about sometimes the energy is ridiculous, but I know that I can come here and I have a place for all of that because, it's really interesting about the happiness piece, because for some people that's polarizing to them because they don't know what that is. So it makes them angry or fearful, or to see someone with confidence and alignment. It's like, what am I looking at here? And I'm sure some of you have noticed that in your life. Do we have any feed in the chat of people, their own stories? I can't see it for some reason.
I see Kathy talking about her inner voice.
Well, Kathy's like just this.
Kathy has totally come to life.
Like a whole new person.
What? Jason, we know Jason came to life for sure. That's. But I also think,
Brent.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'm just watching in the chat box, and I think that when people first come in and they see the happiness factor and they see the energy, I wonder, and maybe there's people out there who can answer this, I wonder what their initial thought is.
Oh, I would love to know that.
Is this community the truth? Is it here for me? Or is this like a fake artificial, I've got to hang out for a little bit to see? Mm-hmm. But I would say with us being in here for over a year now, we have proven it over and over again, not only proof of concept, because that's a given. That shows up in everybody's transformation pictures. But our energy as a community.
Mm-hmm. Unwavering.
And the positivity and the vibration in this community. The board, I know it's our goals to protect this, but there's really not a lot of work on our end to protect this because our community is in alignment with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Authentic, and it's just, all right. I'm seeing comments.
Oh, now I see. Yeah, so Susan's saying about new neuron pathways. We're actually, healing the brain on some level as well. We can't say that, but yeah, but absolutely. I was just reading today. Susan would like this. Candace Hurt, and this is about mind-body medicine. And she was a physicist, and what they found is even like the mechanism of a thought. The cells that are in your brain are everywhere. So your body hears every thought. That's why that negative voice, you need to shut that one up because it permeates every cell in your body. And you see people. So we talked about, we have people in this community, and I like using words like this because it gives it a visual, that are expansive, right? And we all know what contracted is. It's cold, it's pale, it's all tied in, it's quiet, it's negative, it's dark. We most of us will know someone that's a complainer, their energy is low, they never feel well, and so we're a beacon of light in that. And it's just like I said with trauma, once not everything, I'm not going to minimize some of what people have gone through. But for some traumas, once it hits the light and you're able to say it out loud, for me, I have to say it goes into dust, but the light illuminates it. And that's what we're seeing in this group. It's like a light. And so I would be really curious what you asked about people when they first come in, because really, when I describe this group to my friends, they tell me it's like Shangri-La, like utopia, right? Mm-hmm. And really, what would a utopian society be? Right? Absolutely. So we kind of got it going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kathy, she felt our energy right away. Yeah. Sue was feeling lost in her group, and then she came here and got the feedback, and that's the feel goods.
So that's an interesting. So for some of us, right? I know for me. Well, no, I don't want to go into that, but a lot of us were. Well, just there's no reason to.
Yeah.
were in groups to sell. Okay, to learn to sell, personal development to sell. They're going to breathe life into us if I hear that one more time. So, no, really, I can't take it. So, and
Direct.
I know for me, even though there are so many people that I admire, love, envy their success at times, know that they're doing it the right way for them, respect them, it chipped away at me because I'm a practitioner, so I was results driven. I didn't realize that that was happening. So us heart people, we found our home because this resonates with us. Old school, paying it forward, getting people results, changing lives. So I just, that what Sue said, because I also was in many, many different groups. I remember too when my thyroid tanked, and I had Hashimoto's, and it was new, and I was researching. And of course, I've always been a truth seeker, always deep dive. So I was going these Facebook groups of these people with Hashimoto's, and then I was depressed because of that. And then in these groups, and I would see that these people are just complaining. They're not being proactive. And I knew to get out of those groups. So that's an extreme of it. Well, none of that goes on in this community.
No, we don't. I feel like those kinds of energies are just energy draining, and we recharge. That's I come to this group when I feel my energy start to be sucked from whatever it is, and I come into this community and I am recharged because it's just this boundless vibration of positivity.
Absolutely.
People helping people. It's incredible for what we can do. Because my story before the shred, I was not seen as a leader, and it drained my spirit, because while I may not be certain places, I do have my value.
Absolutely.
And Wednesday night, again, thank you, Stephen. That call was incredible. That just validated why we do this, because as an educator, I came into this career with a passion to pay it forward and to teach and to love on people. And some people are like, Heather, why are you still 15 years in? It's always about, what impact can I have on somebody else's life?
Absolutely.
And that's what I see in this community. That's what this community does for each other on so many levels. And like we've said already in this call, we talk every day. We know there's friendships that have been built through this community of people who have never met. When we finally have a shred party, look out. We're going to buy out all of the butter and all of the beef, all of the local wherever we meet. But then just get out of the way, because I see a 24-hour bash, just nonstop.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Another thing I want to highlight, for us women, right, for the feminine energy, this is sort of like easy. This is like our wheelhouse, nurturing, right? Look at the guys. Look at the guys. What's happened to the men in this community? Showing up vulnerable. We have criers. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And the other thing, going back to the female side of this, it's people compassionately sharing and nurturing. It's not the catty one up the other. Like that female side of things is not showing up. And I love that, because that's one of the reasons I personally struggled with female relationships, was there was a lot of that happening. And it doesn't exist in our community. And it's so beautiful how much people will just completely pour love and uplift each other. So I want us to talk a little bit. We've talked about our energy and peeling back, but what are some of your biggest tips for setting our intentions for 2022 to help us just discover you in 2022? What's your biggest?
Let me think about that for a minute. My biggest tip is to plug into the group. Number one, plug into the community. And, for people just starting, just follow the script. I already said about don't be afraid to do your own work about getting rid of trauma and things like that. And as far as New Year's for those of us that have disappointed ourselves in the past, well, we're ER Shred warriors. So no, we just keep going. And the wins here are so quick and so actualized so quickly. It's self-perpetuating. So I think that's all I would say is just, decide, commit, interact with the group. If you fall down, get back up. So what? We don't care. Just we're going to all do this together. I think together is the key.
Absolutely. And I also think, we talk a lot about comparison being the thief of all joy. And I still agree with that. Yeah. Don't put yourself at the same place on this journey as people who have been here from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Like as I am planning for myself for 2022, because I don't know that I'm going to set a New Year's resolution because I don't think that works for me. Mm-hmm. But I've seen myself leveling up.
Love
like that's I started at the level of the nutrition, mm-hmm. and I got that. And then it came the level of paying it forward and shreducating. So I still have base one of the nutrition. I'm still paying it forward and shreducating and building the resources that I can. Then I started with a commitment to myself for just like a weekly, this is my mom's night out. Granted, it's not mom's night out anymore, but because I can't go to spin by myself anymore. I'm not allowed to.
Right. Okay. So you got a partner.
I've got my mini partner in tow every week. But I've now added that level, and now I just committed. Our gym is going 24/7 in January. So now I'm leveling myself up again. But I'm 3 days away from finishing my daily meditation book. It's just what habits. Uh-huh. I don't even think it's resolutions, but it's the habits that you actually resonate with. That you discover find what you are passionate about, find what you're excited about, find what you can commit to, that you're going to be able to stick with, and then build on that.
I think that's great. And I love it. One thing I would say is make a commitment to get outdoors, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. I know some of you live in colder climates, but even if it's 10 minutes a day. And I love what you said, because if we think about the Holy Trinity, body, mind, spirit, we could pick something that feeds your body, something that feeds your soul, something that feeds your mind. And I think that's something that doesn't have to be in a category as a resolution, but as a full and rich life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love that leveling up.
And when you're ready to add more. It doesn't have to be on January 1st and then February 1st. And then when you get yourself established, your body will tell you when you're ready to go to the next level. Mm-hmm. And your journey is going to get to that level at different places. And you know what? You might jump from level 2 to 3 faster than you go from level 3 to 4, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But that for me is how I'm going into this, is just because we also have been known, and I feel like females are more this than males, but that's maybe the mom in me, putting those boundaries as well. Mm-hmm. So you don't burn yourself out. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. And this community is all about giving and giving and giving. Just make sure you give to yourself as well.
Absolutely. And part of being an ER Shred warrior is not saying yes when you mean no.
Absolutely.
That's a big one for women. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to say to you all. So we're not doing the new you in 2022. We're doing Discover You.
Discover you in 2022. Yep.
Yeah. So that's basically
discover. Peel back those layers. Peel back those layers and discover your inner voice.
Yes, and think of it that way. So, so for some people, what's going to happen tonight is just that phrase is going to light something, and then they're going to find their own way. So, of course, I would love to hear that. I would love to hear any insights, that if this thread were going to keep going. I know there are other people that find this fascinating. Me and Jesse will do more of this because me and Jesse are like, well, we might need you on that because we could both go down the rabbit hole and never come out, me and Jesse. But and look at it, we finished on time.
We finished a little early, but we also know it's the holidays and we're all with a chaotic schedule, so we didn't want to overburden your time. But if you found value in this call tonight and you want to hear more, leave us some comments in the chat. We will definitely make sure we go back. If you're catching us on the replay, thank you for being with us tonight. We hope you guys have a very, very healthy new year because we are ready to crush it. Go ahead, Susan.
And I just want to say, I'm so grateful for this community. The Come Alive call touched all our hearts. I look forward to interacting with you guys every day. I don't say names because there's so many of you. And there's actually some of you, like if I didn't see you for a day, I'd be like, where is this person? And I would check on them, which I find so beautiful. It's brought so much fulfillment, richness, purpose to my life. So I'm not going anywhere. And so we're just going to all grow together in 2022.
You guys are stuck with us for 2022. Don't you worry about that. We're not going anywhere. And I agree with you. We know where our people are, and if we don't see our people, we do care. Even though we may have never met in person, we are a family, we are a community, and we are here for each other. So that being said, have an amazing night, everybody. Have a safe New Year. Keep showing up in the group. If you have more you want to share, go ahead, go live. I encourage you to go live and share it with us, awesome. And we'll be there for you. All right, everyone, have an amazing night.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks, Heather.